Good afternoon everyone and welcome. My name's Donna Lovelock. I work up at LifeLab and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our work with young people and in particular the work we're doing at the moment with our youth panel. So as you can see, LifeLab is a really big collaboration between the university, the hospital, we've got a classroom and laboratory space up at Southampton General Hospital. And a lot of the research that we do working with young people, we work really closely with the MRC Life Course Epidemiology Unit. And at the heart of everything for us is school students. So we work with secondary schools all across the South region on a health intervention programme. So as I said, right in the heart of Southampton General Hospital, we've got a big classroom and laboratory space. So we get students in, work with them on really a health literacy programme and trying to engage them with science. So in terms of thinking about the aims of what we're trying to do, we're really trying to improve the health literacy of young people. So we're trying to support them to understand the science behind health messages so they're empowered to make healthier lifestyle choices for themselves because they understand the science behind it rather than just because people are telling them what they should or shouldn't be doing. That feeds into the medical aspect. So we know that the earlier we can make better lifestyle choices, the better outcomes, not just for young people themselves, but for future generations too. And along the way, we're also trying to increase their engagement with science and with STEM subjects. And I can see some of our Meet the Scientists in the room as well. And the way we do that is through a programme of work that involves teacher professional development, a module of resource lessons that support that health literacy aims and those scientific literacy aims, and then obviously the visits up to the hospital themselves to engage in that practical work. So as I said, we run this as the intervention aspect, so we are really testing LifeLab as a model for this. We've worked with 42 schools on previous research projects funded by Bupa and the British Heart Foundation that have been published. So those results are out. And what we've learnt from those projects, we've now brought into our most recent project, which is engaging adolescents in changing behaviour. So we've really taken what we've learnt and now starting to look at how can we actually support young people with making some of those lifestyle choices. That just gives a little bit of, we tend to work with year 8 and 9 students as a part of our research projects, but LifeLab as a whole, we work with students across the board in terms of ages and just shows our geographical spread there at the bottom as well. So the EHB project is a good example of this sort of involving people right from the very beginning of the process. An awful lot of work was done by the researchers with young people to really get their input into shaping this whole project. Part of this project is young people having a smartphone game to support them with eating well, moving more, and trying to make that as fun and interactive as possible for them. So we worked with game designers from Glasgow University to develop that, and they did an awful lot of prep work with the young people through game jams, getting them involved in kind of designing characters for the smartphone game, thinking about their arcs, their journeys through the game. So really trying to involve the young people right from the very start with the research that's going to be impacting on them. And this process was very much that idea of reimbursement. So we recruit young people through our channels that we use. They get Amazon vouchers or various vouchers for coming and taking part and getting involved with this. But moving forwards from there, we wanted to start to think, how do we really show young people that we are valuing their contributions and their voices when it comes to having an input into the research that's about them and impacts them? So we wanted to really try and think of ways where we can get some consistency in their feedback and show them that we value their voices. So we tried to link this in with the university strategy as well. And what we've come up with is this idea of working in partnership with young people as part of the sort of knowledge exchange and enterprise aspect and vision of the university to really engage young people with the process the whole way through. And one of the ways in which we've done that is by setting up a youth panel. So our youth panel are a group of 6 young people who are employed by the university to work with us at LifeLab and share their thoughts and opinions around all things research related. So they do 3 hours work per week. One of those 1 hour is a Teams call on a Tuesday afternoon, which is a lot of group discussions, getting their input on various different things, and then they do 2 hours independent work. And I've just pulled out a few of their sort of things they've been doing as part of this first youth panel. So we've been working with the UHS clinical research team, and particularly their communications team, and our youth panel have been designing animations to talk about clinical research and try and encourage people to take part in clinical research, and they've done that throughout the whole process. So they've actually designed the animations, they've said what sort of things they want to see in there, and the whole point of the pitch of this is really to engage young people. And if you're pitching it towards young people, you're going to engage adults as well with clinical research. So they've been involved right from the start. They're also writing articles for the Clinical Research magazine, and they've been interviewing researchers to go alongside those articles, and they've been commenting the whole way through about what sort of articles they think should be in the magazine, what kind of research they think is important to them. And I've popped the bottom one in. This was just a piece of independent work they did for one of their week's tasks, and they actually commented on a lay summary for a funding bid. So we asked all of them to go through it, to feed back on it, say what they thought it should include, because it's all about young people, and then their feedback was taken into account on that and was actually used then to improve that bid and put that funding bid in. So we're trying to involve them at every step along the way when it comes to things that involve young people. That was sort of the process we followed. It's a bit back to front. When you employ people under the age of 16 through the university, you have to find your participants, and then once you've actually got the person that you want for the job, then you set up the job, which seems a bit bizarre. So we did encounter some challenges along the way, and I think what really stands out there is that we had over 60 applications for 6 places. So shortlisting was a big job. And it was just such a shame that there was going to be so many young people who not were disappointed, but didn't get involved in this one. But every other youth panel we set up, we now send out information to say there's another one, are you still interested? A few of the challenges we had to overcome, they're all under 16 at the moment, the group that we work with. That means they don't have national insurance numbers yet, some of them didn't have a bank account, they didn't have a passport. So we had to work really closely with the uni workforce to try and overcome a lot of the challenges for employing the young people. The local authorities, different authorities have different rules for working with people under the age of 16. And there's also the safeguarding aspect to consider when working with young people as well. And I think all of these challenges were things we were able to overcome, but the real big take-home message is you just have to leave a huge amount of time to work through all of this. We advertised in January for a panel to start in April, and we still felt like we would have liked more time to be able to do that. So it's just about kind of thinking about that planning time. So just to finish then with some of the impact, both on the young people themselves and for the university, we asked them just to summarise their experience with the youth panel. And a couple of words that I really wanted to sort of pick out from there, this idea of responsibility. So they're being paid. They feel a sense of responsibility with what they're doing. Valuable. They feel that their work is being valued, their voices are being heard, and they feel that they're making a valuable contribution as well. And I think that idea of contributing to research is really important for them too. I think those two sort of speak for themselves a little bit. And I was going to pull out some key points from their feedback, but it was so good that I've just put all of it in there. I realised you can't read any of it because it's really small on the screen. So if slides are shared afterwards, it is really worth just having a look through some of the comments that the young people have said about what this means to them to be able to be involved. But I do want to just read out one, and that's the bottom of the yellow box. Being part of a job that was paid gave a sense of responsibility and value to the role that we're doing. So it's just building on really from that idea of the reimbursement. And impacts on the young people themselves. Again, they're thinking about how this impacts on their future employability. And a lot of them are talking about how they've loved having an insight into research and being able to contribute to this. I'm very conscious of time, and I just want to finish with a 50-second audio clip. So this is just kind of capturing the impact from the other side, so from us and from the university and the hospital, and I think John summarises it really well.
I'm John Nurse, and I'm an R&D Communications Manager at University Hospital Southampton NHS Foundation Trust. Our team's collaboration with LifeLab in this summer's youth panel has provided really valuable insights that will help research engage effectively with different audiences. It has affirmed some of the things we do and pushed us to improve or innovate in others. I've really enjoyed joining the sessions and hearing the panelists' perspectives as they've analysed the user experience of our websites and shared what research is important to them. The animations, short videos and magazine that are being produced from this work will be shared across 6 languages in the coming months, and they have been truly inspired and co-authored by the voices of these dedicated young people.
I think I'm probably out of time, but I don't think I can say anything to really top that in terms of that sort of summary of how great it has been to work with them. And there's lots more plans underway for future youth panels.